But yeah, Mark, you're right, man. I don't think they really care too much about that, to be honest.
Our industry with the vendors we use for their websites, we're limited considerably on our landing pages, and speed kills. So we have sites that convert at 3%, but the bounce rate is like 35. So Mark, I think they care about the bounce rate, and site speed does matter. But when we have, when we're like that client I talked about, it's 24% click-through rate, 83 cents a click in a pretty intense area, high dollar area. And their conversion rate is, if I have this up, conversion rate's like 6%, which is good. We're happy about that. But at the same time, I think the bounce rate is what Google's looking at on the site side. Honestly, I think for speed. Sure. It feels like bounce rate's more important than site speed. But definitely. I don't know. Because we have a really low bounce rate. We have like 26 to 35% bounce rate. We'll have some sites that are 50. Once we get to that 40 or 50 and we see that, we try to shift gears and get to a different setup on the landing page.
So a better question. You're getting 83-cent clicks in real estate on exact and phrase match keywords.
Yes.
That's amazing, dude. That's
the best out of what I do in the world.
83-cent click.
Best of what I do in the world. Listen to this guy, man.
Yeah. And we're trying to take, and our search impression share on that is, gosh, it's got to be 60%. So that he's trying to take up all the traffic, right?
Yeah. Sure. That's awesome, man.
I was going to add to the question that Mark had about the conversion. I think that's where the smart bidding comes in. The reason why I'm more bullish on AI is because of smart bidding, because it wasn't working as well 3 or 4 years ago. We didn't use it at all. We were 100% manual. And then as we started using Google experiments, testing against what we were doing, and we still do this for every new campaign, we start off with manual. We let it run till we have enough conversion data, a reasonable amount that I think Google could probably figure it out. And then we'll use a Google experiment for maybe 50 or 30% of the traffic to the new bid strategy. Let them duke it out for a little bit, see which one does better. If we don't like what we saw, we might switch to a different bid strategy, because we're doing both e-commerce and lead gen in some ways. Like even our tour operators they're getting calls and they're getting online bookings. So you've got different options, different levers you can pull with target ROAS or max conversion value now. But I think that's where they've done really well, because when it comes to bidding, the reality is we can bid on clicks we saw in the past, but you can't bid on an impression you're getting right now with the metrics that they're using. So there's already a human limitation that is inherent that they can figure out. They have the tools to do it. Will they do the best job all the time? I'm not saying that they will, but that's why we split test. It's an experiment. We let them prove to us that they can do a better job, or at least as good of a job. And then we'll kind of still direct them with maybe the target ROAS, the target CPA that we're going after. Sometimes we have to increase it because maybe we start seeing volume go down because we had a bad week or something. There's still leverage you got to pull with it. It's not like it's just a set and forget, which I'm not saying that for you, Mark. I'm saying more for people watching this, but I think that's where it happens.
PA. Do you have a preference on which bid strategy you use?
It depends on the client. E-commerce is always max conversion value. And if it's lead gen, we would always use max conversions. Just with a target CPA in almost every case. Sometimes we'll open it up and not even have one. If we feel like things have been going pretty well and our CPA is already pretty much in line, sometimes we'll just go without a target just to see what Google can do, knowing where we've been, right? Because sometimes they just go off the rails. Sometimes they don't. But
yeah, you got to be careful with that, though. We learned that the hard way. And
we watch it. We definitely watch it.
Limo company. We had
oh my God, you remember that?
$400 clicks in the limo industry.
$400 clicks for a rental.
Yeah, we're like Google. That's a $400 click, and he's like, yeah, well, that's where the market's at right now. And I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? The whole job that he's bidding for is $300. Who out there is bidding $400? I was like,
he makes it up in volume, though.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, come on, guys.
Actually, Ed, that was max clicks when it first came out. We didn't put a big cap.
No big cap.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I was like, Ed just called me. He's like, oh my God, what's going on? I'm like, look at it. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
And then a Google rep called the client and told him this was going on, and then took the account from us because that we didn't put a bid cap in on it. Client was won over by this Google rep. went to Google Rep, and then the Google Rep tanked the campaign in like 2 weeks, and it ended up coming.
No,
Yeah,
really?
shocker. Yeah,
That happens?
shocker. I know.
He came back though, and he stayed for years.
Yeah.
Actually, he stayed till he shut his company down.
Yeah. So let's not. I don't want to talk about the name of the company, but
Well, I will say this, guys. We had a $9,000 weekend in a very similar situation one time. We actually got a huge refund, like almost all of it back, believe it or not, from Google, because we were spending 6 figures a month on this. But actually, we're spending multiple 6 figures a month on accounts, but for this particular guy. But what happened was max conversions it was max. So this is the thing that I learned during that time, because I'll never forget, is you can't use max conversions with a unreasonably high daily budget. Okay. And the reason why is because you're telling Google, I want to get every chance to convert I can with all of this money. Now they spend 3x that amount because you already know they can do that. And
Right.
I don't know why, but we had we had aggressive budgets. We were ready to go, but it was in the investor space, the home investor space. You guys know how that goes.
Yep.
You got
Oh,
some
yeah.
days you can spend a couple hundred, some days you can spend nothing. For whatever reason, that weekend seemed like a hot weekend of Google, because they were spending, like you said, $400 clicks. And I'm like, dude, we spend $30 a click on this keyword. This weekend it was 400, just because there was an impression left that we could possibly get. I'm like, so we learned to make sure our daily budgets are reasonable to where, we're spending for the most part that amount. So it's not, because we were like 4x what we could possibly spend in a day at that point. We just wanted to be there and just in case and show Google we were serious. But yeah, we got the money back, man. So, I mean, I can't really complain. The client was happy, because I was like, oh crap, man, $9,000 in a weekend. And we don't work on the weekends. So that was a fun Monday.
Yeah.